You judging me, Django? I'm putting this machine back OEM specs. What are you talking about? I know it's a hot glue gun. You don't approve? You need to talk to somebody above my level of pay, because I'm putting it back the way it was. Can't you understand that? See, Django, that episode right there, that's called foreshadowing. You work on one of these games, you're going to get to put a little hot glue gun on your game too. Yes, you know that. You knew it. You saw the whole video. You were there for the whole video. You knew it was going to happen. I just recorded this at the end, but this video is already done. This is going in the front part of the video. It's a little confusing, filming out of order. It's like a Tarantino video or something. A little confusing for you, Django, isn't it? Welcome to Kingston Pinball. Today I'm going to try to see if I can get this Pulp Fiction fixed. This is my game. I had it on route. Started doing all kinds of crazy stuff. I thought it was just a light lamp was out. That's what somebody told me. One of the lamps wasn't working. I dug a little deeper. It is a little more than that. So I'm going to stand this game up. I brought it off route, brought it to my shop. I'm going to stand it up and I'm going to show you what it's doing. Then I'm going to throw this chip in there and hopefully it's going to all be better. Look at the game in the car. It stood up. It's booted up. And at first glance, it looks like everything's pretty much normal. The first report I got was this one's not lighting. And so I was like, okay, it's just a bulb. But on these games, there's like one big, huge board underneath here. I'll show you in a second that all the LEDs are mounted to. And I'm thinking, oh, crap. And everything's surface mounted, so they're not very serviceable. I was thinking maybe it's a loose connector or something. After digging, well, let me just show you. First thing I did was I went into the lamp test, find the setting or system tests, lamp tests, all lamps. And sure enough, it's working. So what the heck? And that one's working too. It wasn't working either. Here's the deal. If I back up out of this and go to single lamp and so there's the left ball save. If I go through every single one of them, and there's 100 or so, there's like 20 or 25 or so that don't like it light in a single ball test. So it's some kind of an addressing or instruction type problem. That's the way I understand it anyway. Furthermore, there's a few switches. I think it was this switch, one of these rollovers, and there was another switch. I've got them all marked in the book. So anyway, it's like in the lamps, they're not all like in one region, because let me pick up the game and I'll show you. So here's what the bottom of this play field looks like. There's this one huge big board here, and then there's a little connector. Then there's another relatively big one, and then actually that one lamp that wasn't working, it's on a smaller board. But all these are kind of like satellites of the main board, and all these boards are full of surface mounted chips. A lot of computing going on all these boards. And the lamps that are not working, it's not like just like all the lamps on this one. There'll be a couple like over here, a couple over here, a couple over here, a couple on this board, a couple on this board, and then there's some that are like individual little lamps that are like, if I can find one, like that one there, it's got like just a couple. It might be one of those, but not the other one. It's like they're just kind of like random all over the place. So I'm just making those up. But my thought is, if it was I'm kind of thinking of it like the solenoid drivers on like a Bally, which I understand moderately well. You've got the 4 address lines, A, B, C, D, and there's zeros or 1. If like one of those isn't working, you'll get the wrong addresses, and some of them will never fire, because you've got like, say one of them is supposed to be high, 1111. It's not going to fire as 1111. It's going to fire as 1110, because this one is not connected. So I'm thinking it's something along those lines. Or anyway, so honestly, I don't know how to address this on this type of game. It's over my head. So I filed a service report with service ticket with Chicago Gaming. Guy got back to me. First thing he said was, you probably need to replace this board here. I was like, oh, great. He asked me if it was still under warranty. I looked. This game, I opened the box like 11 and a half months before this happened, and it's a 12-month warranty. Unfortunately, I bought the game a couple of months before I opened the box. It's set in this
in my shop for 2 months before I put it on route. I didn't even open the box. I left it in the box until I brought it over there, and I told them that, but they were like, warranty's warranty. It's the date of purchase. So they did tell me that they have had some problems with this PIC chip. And I didn't know what a PIC chip was. Since then, I've learned a little bit. It's basically a microprocessor, but it also it's a programmable microprocessor. So it's kind of got, I'm not really a computer guy, so I don't know. I'm going to make it up as something along the lines of like ROM. So it's got some instructions that are specific to this game that are encoded on this chip. So you can't just go buy one. You have to get it from, or unless you got the software and the means to program it. So anyway, they shipped me a new PROM chip, or a new PIC chip. So I'm going to turn this game off, pull that chip, put this chip in there, and hopefully that fixes the problem. If not, probably the next stage is swapping out this one. Before I go that route, I'm going to want to talk to this guy on the phone, because so far it's just been using their email back and forth, which is kind of cumbersome, because it's like I send a message, he sends something back the next day, I send a message the next day. So it's like it was like days to get to the point of sending this. And then, then it's a couple more emails back and forth to get so I can pay him the $5 shipping to send it to me. It's like, dude, just bill me. I need the part. I need to get this thing, I don't want it sitting in my shop. I want it out earning money. So anyway, I'm going to throw this in there and hopefully this alleviates the problem. If it's not, then we got bigger fish to fry. All right, swapped out that chip. I'm going to turn it on. And we'll lower it down. And I guess the telltale will be whether this one lights up in attract mode. This game takes a little bit to boot up. Sorry for the wagging y'all around. I'm trying to get this playfield down with one hand. It's kind of stiff. I'm giving it about 47.2% chance of fixing this thing. Here we go. Motor error. Oh, I gotta pull open that switch. And that did not fix it. Wait, it's blinking. It's blinking. It blinked some. I'm gonna start the game up. I don't think I got balls. Maybe I do. I don't think I got balls in it. Maybe some balls. So that did not fix the problem. So I've got 3 of these in 1, 2, 3, 4 is lit. If I hit the flipper button, actually I've got them all lit. It's just the fact that the one is always unlit. And I tilted because I don't have the legs on.
I'd knock that shit off if I was you.
Yeah, you should knock that shit off. I don't have enough pitch on this thing. It's not wanting to put the ball back down. Hold on. So I just tried something else. Tried reseating most of the connectors on here, including all these Ethernet cables. I'm going to do the same thing under the board here. I'm going to turn it on here real quick. Nothing quick about booting up on this game. This is what the back of this thing looks like, in case you had never seen inside one of these CGCs. I think it's the same system as on their all their remakes, Monster Bash and Medieval Madness. I think they've got the same boards. I know the underside of a Monster Bash, the board set underneath there, that big board I showed you, looks very similar on a Monster Bash. So we'll see if this thing is going to light up. When it first booted, that flashed for a second when it came across. I'm trying to find the balls. What is it saying? Waiting for balls. I don't have enough pitch on this game. So I just noticed something. When it does a swirly mode, occasionally in the track it does swirls. When it does a swirly mode, it lights. The one lights. When it does kind of the random thing, it doesn't light. So, the track, it does several different things. and every now and then it does swirls. And when the swirls, it lights. I mean, how crazy is that? So it can light. It just doesn't want to light right now. I was just playing around with it also. So those two switches don't work. That switch doesn't work. This switch doesn't work. And I'm sure there's some more. The 2 switch, actually, it works sometimes but not all the time. And the one switch does work. Well, after messing around with the cables a little bit more, that did not fix the problem. I guess I don't figure it will, because, I mean, like, those lamps there, they can turn on when they want to. It's just a matter of they don't want to. And the computer can tell them to turn on. So, I mean, the cabling is there. It's just, I mean, the computer can tell them to turn on but sometimes it just doesn't want to for whatever reason. I don't quite understand it. It's like it's got a corrupted, in the old games it'd be a ROM, which would lend itself to change this PIC chip from way I understand the PIC chip works, but that's got the exact same features. So anyway, if anybody's wondering, all these lamps that have a dot next to them are the ones that they can work, and if I click do all lamps, they will light. And I think in the swirly attract mode they all light also, but they don't work in the game, and they won't work if you try to light them individually. So if you address them one at a time, so there's like 20 or 30 of them. There's also, so I wrote down these are the switches. When I did this before while it was up at Pins and Pints, before I took the game back to the shop. And so, like, rollover 2, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Just now it wasn't working, then it was working. This left spinner, I just tested it. It is working. The Big Kahuna Collect, that works sometimes and sometimes it doesn't. Just now, these 2 switches, L45 and L44, oh, those are the lamps. But those corresponding switches for those 2 stand-ups are not working either right now. So the switches are kind of intermittent. Oh, and then that switch there, it's not working right now, but before it was. So it's almost like it's like a bunch of goofy behavior. When I first saw this, I thought maybe this is a power issue. I think all the modern stuff is on 3.3 volts, and I think it's all generated on the boards. So it could be a little power supply that's on the board. I don't know. The power supply for the game is a 12 volt. I've checked that. It's a solid 12 volts. So I put in another service ticket on this. Asked them to call me. I don't know if they'll call me or not. I hope they do. Yeah, the further information I have now is that the game can individually light that, or it's at least with a program other than light all lamps. But only in the swirly mode. In the other ones where it's doing them like this, like individually calling them up, it won't call it up. But if it's doing a circular pattern, it works. Crazy nonsense. So Chicago Gaming, they shipped me this new board. I don't know if it's new or a repaired board. Anyway, I'm gonna throw that in there, and I've got a self postaged for this box. I'm gonna put mine back in this box and ship it back to them. It's only $150, including the shipping back, which is pretty reasonable. My only complaint is that this has taken like about 5 weeks to get to this point. So I'm really hoping this fixes the problem. You can see all the chips and computing that's going on this board. That's that PIC chip that I already swapped. It's got another one in here. So there's lots of surface mounted stuff. I'm hoping this fixes it. So I'm gonna walk over here, and I've already got this plate filled up. So disconnect all the connectors. I'm gonna take a bunch of pictures, and there's a mess of screws in this thing. And take it off, and shouldn't take too much. Take this off and put on the new one. So they've used hot glue on all these connectors. That one there, that one there, that one there. That's not super kosher in my opinion. Yeah, what do I know? Yeah. Geez, so that pulled out that white thing there, the base, when I get it off, because it's hot glued. I'll probably have a lot of that. I think these are, that one's not hot glued, but all the small ones are hot glued on. So I got that swapped out. I've got to say, if you have to use hot glue to keep your connectors on there, maybe that's a sign you've got some cheap ass connectors and you ought to upgrade. That's what I'm saying. I mean, we've been using connectors on solid state pinballs since 78, 79, you know. Haven't had to use hot glue until now, and now we got to use hot glue. I bet somebody makes a connector that would stay on there that wouldn't vibrate loose. If not, make one. I know that some, I mean, automotive, my gosh, they handle the bumps and, you know, they're a pain to get off, but they're not as much of a pain as hot glue. Hot glue is kind of akin to soldering it on there, because when you break it, then you can put it back, but now they're going to fall off. And on a couple of these, when I pulled them off, the bottom piece, it came off with it. So basically messed up the connector. Just trying to get the base of the connector, just trying to get it off. So I ended up using have to use a knife and slice the hot glue off every one of these. That kind of defeats the point of a connector. The point of a connector is you can take it off and you can put it back on again. It makes it easy. I mean, if you've got to cut it and re-glue it, that's only a little bit easier than just resoldering it. I mean, you make fun of people soldering the wires to the boards. This is not that, but it's not too awful far from it. If you've got to cut the glue and then re-glue it again every time you take a connector off, I'm just saying that sucks. Okay, I'm done on my connector rant. I'm gonna plug this thing in. I'm gonna lower the play field, and hopefully this thing works. I've still got a couple of little, there's a little connector, so they've got a little plastic thing to hold that ribbon cable in there, and I've got a couple more screws put in here, but I want to see if this thing is working real quick. So I'm gonna fold this down, put the cord in it, and fire this dude up. All right, here goes nothing. Well, it's booting up. That's a good thing. This game takes a while to boot up. I don't see anything in the playfield yet, but this thing does take a while. I don't remember how long it takes the playfield versus the top. I do know it takes a little bit. Come on now. Don't tell me I got a dead oh. Motor error. Freaking great. Waiting for balls. I've got no life down here at all. Let me make sure I got everything plugged in. I'm gonna just see if I've got my lights here. I've got on my V lump 5 volts. That one's not lit. SPI communication is not lit. I don't know if they're supposed to be lit. That one is just kind of like barely lit. I don't think that's really lit. Okay, everything's lit now. All those are lit. All those are lit. These are all lit. Communication. Oh, maybe. Maybe that's all it needed. Okay. Yeah. Looking for balls. Let me put the balls in here. No one. I thought I saw it a couple times. I think I did, but it was just a swirly. Yeah, and those two are not working. So this did not fix the problem. The problem is elsewhere. I was afraid it was. Because the fact that they can come on, like when it's doing the swirly attract mode, or if it's doing light all of them, it's like, it's got to be pretty high up in the process of, it's like a logic error. Whoa, I saw them there. There they go. See, on this one, the swoop, it lights them, but Let me just start again. Okay, I credited it up. Throw a ball in here. Still looking for balls. Let me smooth. So I was missing a ball. I got it booted up. Some of these switches are not working. Like that switch is not working. This switch. Oh, now it is working.
See you around. Don't you hate that?
But earlier that was not working.
Damn shame.
I'm gonna light this one. And if you hit the flippers, that moves around. So it's at 2, now it's at 1, but it's not lit. Now it's at 3, 4, 2, 1, not lit. So it's exactly the same as it was. So whatever the problem was, it wasn't that board right there. Because I swapped in the new one, exact same thing. So, I don't know. It's upstream. It must be, I mean, there's not much else left except for that dude. So I guess that's the next thing. I don't know. I've already tried plugging and unplugging all the connectors. I think I'll just desolder and resolder those little doodads right there. My gosh, I guess it'll be another month to get the board, a pinball controller. Pinball controller. Just. Yeah, this is the driver for the solenoid, so I think all the drivers for the lamps are on that board we just replaced. This is all the solenoid stuff here. So, anyway. I'm about tired of messing with this thing. It's becoming a real drag. All right, so it's been about a week. Talked to Chicago Gaming, and I thought they said they were going to mail me the upper left board. I thought when they said upper left board.
Say what again?
I thought they meant that board right there, the upper left board, which is the MPU. Instead, it's this one, which is like, it'd be upper left is there or down here, which depending if you're upper left, look on the top of the bottom. But this is like a satellite board off that main board that I already swapped. I just don't have much faith that this is going to fix the issue. I mean, as I mentioned, the lights are spread out over the whole thing. Some of the switches are spread around, so maybe they know more than I do. Probably do. But in the meantime, I thought, I think it's something on that board. And one thing that I can do is reburn the software on there. So I've put the newest software on this SD card. So I'm going to turn the game off, put it in there, reboot it with this in there, and it's going to reload new software. So maybe if the software got corrupted, this will fix it. It's something I can do right now. I'm going to try that, and if that doesn't work, then I'm going to swap this board out, and I don't know, maybe one or the other will do something. So I got that SD card, micro SD card right there. I'll turn it on, boot it up. I think it's going to tell me that it's trying to burn new software. We'll see what it says. System power up. Well, nothing yet. Okay, install Pulp Fiction. New version 1.02. That's the version I downloaded. Okay, so it's doing a countdown in 10 seconds. So if you don't want to do that, you turn it off real fast. So I'll get you back in here once it's reinstalled, and we'll see if it fixed anything. So they've got a progress bar coming across here. This thing is filling up the screen with bars as it's loading. I think that's what's going on here, yeah. So that's kind of cool. Anyway, it's been about maybe a minute, and it's done that much. So this whole thing is going to take like 5 minutes maybe. All right, we're almost finished up. So now verify. Do not power off. Yeah. Okay, install success, version 1.02, remove SD card and reboot. All right, I guess I'll do that. You'd think turn the power off first. I think I'll turn the power off and then pull the card out and then turn it back on. Okay, I got just pulled the card out there, gonna reboot. System power up. I give this about a 10% chance of doing anything, but you know, it was easy. Come on, this thing takes forever to boot up. Welcome to Pulp Fiction. Motor error. I don't know what that's about. Switch errors. And got the same issue. Well, see the swirly, it's blinking. The other ones it's not. I'm almost positive this is the exact same thing we had before. So this board they sent me, it's this one that goes right here, which I don't know why that would be extremely important. It does have some chips on it. I mean, I don't know what they're doing, but it kind of looks like the chips on all these other boards. Every one of these board, well, that one doesn't have any board chips on it, and that one doesn't really have any. But this one has a lot. This lower one here, and obviously that one has a bunch. So maybe this one has some higher order computing going on. Anyway, I'm gonna throw it on there real quick. So I got that replacement board put in there. Well, I just got to boot it up, and when it did the whirlwind, the one lit, otherwise it didn't. So it's exactly the same. I got the motor error and switch error message on the screen here. So yeah, that didn't do anything. I didn't think it was. I'm still thinking it's the MPU has an issue on it. Just because the problems are distributed throughout, it's not just on one of those boards. I think it's up higher, that the problem stems up here, so it can funnel down to all the lower boards. My basic understanding of the way the system works, I don't know. I guess I'll go back once again and hopefully get some help. It was a couple weeks later, and I got another box of parts to try on my Pulp Fiction. I got a new MPU and a new Ethernet cable of sorts. So I'm gonna throw them in here, and hopefully this will alleviate the issues. I already got the board in there. It's booting up. So it's doing some stuff. We'll see soon enough whether all this stuff lights up. Didn't swap the cable out yet. It seems like a long shot, but I figured I'd just try the board first. Running that new cable will be a real pain in the butt. So I see motor error, not a good sign. And it's the same. Those two are not working. They do in the swirly, but otherwise they're not. And that one's also not working. So it's the same. So I'm gonna take this cable. I'm not gonna completely put it in there, but I'll just hijack it around the side and plug it in there. But I've got little faith. I mean, this is insane. Okay, so I got the new cable there. There's the old one, and I've got it. Let me shut the door here. I've got it plugged in the bottom of the playfield, like there's the other one there hanging. So that's not tidy, but it doesn't have to be tidy if it's going to work. We will see. I don't have any faith. None. Starting to think this motor error is the source, was the original problem. The briefcase doesn't work. It's another thing I've realized. See what it says here. I think it would be trying to move it maybe. Yeah, motor error. Yep, it's not gonna work. Let's see what the lights say. Yep, those two are not blinking, and that one's not blinking. And in the swirly, it does, which is just crazy. That's what blows me away. So anyway, so I'll send another text message. I wish I could talk to somebody on the phone at Chicago Gaming. I think if I was talking to somebody else technical, the two of us, we could probably figure this thing out in like 5 or 10 minutes. But the communication sucks. Text, basically sending emails back and forth. You know, it's like, it's ridiculous. All right, it's been a couple weeks since I've worked on this Pulp Fiction. I sent them a note after they sent the last board, still broken. Haven't heard anything from them. I'm kind of like I'm not kind of frustrated. I am frustrated. Anyway, it's Labor Day. I figured I'd give a run at it. I think I haven't got it fixed, but I think I've got it somewhat narrowed down. I think I have an idea. So when I first contacted them, I sent them a picture of this page and these dots or lamps that didn't work. And now that I go back and look at it and what I'm going to tell you here in a second, or maybe you can already see it, you kind of see a pattern, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, all the 1, 2s in an order are dead. Well, that is the pattern. And those correspond to certain digital signals. When I first started this, I said it seems like kind of on a valley when you've got one of the, and those the valleys, they've got 4 digital signals that go to the solenoid driver board. Like one of them's missing. You'll get funny things firing. I think that is indeed what my instinct was. I think is correct. I haven't proven that yet, but I think that's it. So I sent them this and this. It's the same pattern lamps. So today I did, and I also give them a list of some of the switches. I didn't give them a comprehensive test of all the switches that were working, but I went through today and I found some more that weren't working. Some really weird stuff. The left 2 bullseye targets, if you hit the top one, it fires the right bottom one, and the bottom one registers the top one. Like the left spinner registers the top in lane at the top lane number 1. The top lane also does the top lane number 1. The left slingshot will cue the left in lane, which is number 3. The number 3 in lane will actually fire the left. I've wrote down right sling shape, but that's actually the left slingshot. So crazy nonsense. So what I did was, fortunately, I will say this is a pretty decent manual. I just started marking down all the bad biscuits. So switch 35, 36, they're screwed up in some way or manner. Either they don't work or they register the wrong thing. Those correspond to digital signals D0 and D1. Same with those two, D0, D1. Same with those two, D0, D1. That one, either switch one that I didn't measure, it might have been like a trough opto that I didn't get to, but anyway, D1. So you're seeing this pattern of the D0, D1 are bad biscuits. This is an exception. Those 2 switches do work, 13 and 14. Those are bad, D0, D1. Oh, those are slightly different. DB, not DB1. I think those are from the B board, but they originate originally from D0, D1. I believe that's the case. Yeah, data bus B. I need to check that, but I believe it's the same original source. I'm not positive yet. That switch was dead. I haven't traced that one down. And also the motor for the briefcase doesn't work, which is here. And that originates, it's got the D0 and D1, which is encoded to drive the briefcase. So I think all these problems originate from D0, D1. D0, D1, they are created from that PIC chip, which is on the big main board. And that was the first thing they mailed me, was a new PIC chip, and that didn't fix it. And then if I can get to the boards, I can kind of show you, if I can find a picture. I just figured I'll show you on the game. So the D0, D1 and all the other Ds are formed from this PIC chip, and they go out here and they get upgraded to lamps and switches and everything else, and they get moved over to this MB board, and I think this is the MC board. And there's also all these little things that go off to little small lights, switches and everything else, opto boards, all kinds of crazy stuff. But they're created right here. So I've already swapped out this board. I've already swapped out this board. I've also swapped out the MPU in the back. I'm pretty sure the problem, it's very unlikely it's this chip, because I swapped this chip. I've also swapped this board with a brand new chip in it also. So I'm guessing it's probably a peripheral that's plugged into here, or a wiring harness that's either those two are tied together on that peripheral, or something along those lines. Either like a connector is bad, like something like that, where there's like a short between the two of them or something like that. So my plan here is to start disconnecting everything. Just get this board, so just like only the lamps that are native to this board, and see if I can get it to work. If I can get all the lamps working on this board, then I'll know I have isolated the problem. And then I can start plugging stuff in one at a time, and when it goes bad, I'll go, okay, that's my bad biscuit connector, and then I can like if it's that opto board, and that is one of them that's got a bad switch. This ball 1 there, it actually is registering the a subway switch down here. So it's like D0 and D1 are transcended. So it could be this one of these opto boards is fried, either that one or this or the one down here, because there's another opto board where in the subway where it captures the ball for the pawn shop multi-ball. Or it could be just 2 wire. It could be as simple as, like I said, just 2 wires touching. But it's probably not something on this board, because like I said, I've swapped that. So it's probably in a peripheral or the wiring harness itself. But anyway, so I'm going to go through the task. I'm going to first disconnect this board and this board. I've done that before, so I don't really think it's either of those boards that's the problem, or a peripheral from that matter of those boards, because like I said, I've disconnected those boards and that doesn't solve anything. So it's probably a peripheral. Hopefully it's just a peripheral of this, what they call the MA board. This board here, you know, I'll disconnect that. I don't know what that is. That's a bunch of lights, a bunch of lamps. And this is a switch for the left slingshot. And that's one of the goofy ones. That's that slingshot is registering the in lane will register this slingshot and vice versa. So maybe if I unplug that, it's going to fix it. I don't know. Hopefully something stupid like that. So, you know, worst came to worst, I could just unplug that thing and it'd be a little easier without a slingshot until I figure out how to get the slingshot. You know, it's like I said, it's probably not any of that surface mounted crap there, because this is a new board. So it's probably, if it was the slingshot, it's probably something in the slingshot itself. That'd be unlikely, you know. And the game's new enough that it's probably not something like rubbing where it's cutting through the wires. But I was working on an EM just last week, and that was exactly the case, where the game would intermittently not boot because it had cut through a wire and the wire was shorting to ground on a bracket about like that. So I don't think it's that, because this game is like, it was in service less than a year. So, you know, it's got several thousand plays on it, but nothing too extreme. So I'm going to start disconnecting, and if I find something interesting, I'll pull y'all back in. Well, it's just a few minutes later, and that thing is going crazy. It's probably in club, doesn't know what to do. But I'm in the individual lamp test, and Vincent is working. Mia's working. Those two were not working before. I don't think 1 and 2 are going to work, because those are on a daughter board. But these two are 2 of my bad biscuits, and they're working. And I didn't even unplug everything. I just unplugged a handful of things. Let me turn this thing off. I'll show you what I unplugged. I unplugged data to that board and that board, and I basically unplugged. I did unplug that because that was one I was suspicious of, the trough. I've got I don't own the other one, but I'm responsible for servicing another one of these, and it had a bad opto board. And I think those are kind of prone to going bad on these particular games. I did unplug the slingshot switch, so I'm going to start plugging stuff back in, and I'll probably just start by plugging in these 2 boards here, and most of the stuff down to here, and leave the opto and the slingshot, and see when Mia goes out of sight. Okay, I plugged in the 2 boards, and you see when I go through Mia, that just blinks briefly. So the trough board is not plugged in. So It's something I just plugged in, which I just plugged in all this stuff. That's still unplugged. Board B and board C. So I'm just going to process of elimination. I'm going to keep going until I'm going to unplug a few of them and see if it keeps working. I'm going to just try. I thought I had unplugged B and C before, but I'm going to unplug C and see if that does it. Okay, so the only thing I did was plug it from last time I videoed just a few seconds ago was plug in that board B, the bottom right one, and Vincent and Mia are back alive again. So I think it's something on, it's either the board C itself or board B itself or one of the peripherals on that board. So I'm going to plug everything else back in. Then I'm going to start unplugging stuff on board B. So plug all this nonsense on A in, make sure all that's working. And then plug B in, it's probably going to fail again. Then I'm going to start unplugging the peripherals on B and determine whether it's actually something on board B or whether it's a peripheral of board B. So we'll see. So I just got through testing with all that stuff unplugged. I'm going to unplug another third and test it, and I'll do another third and test it. And lastly, maybe just leave it just with the power, and then maybe just the data line only. But I don't know. Here's a little note to anybody at Chicago Gaming. You got these nice labels on all these connectors, but they don't correspond to anything on the header pins. Like, you know, switch 60. The switch doesn't say switch 60. It says all that. I don't see switch. I guess I could go in the manual, but you know, just write switch 60. That's what I need. That'd help me a lot more. So I don't have to go old school, go magic marker, or write the switch number or something. Some of these I wrote 37, 38 because they look all the same and they're all right together. So you know. I like the labels, put meaningful information on the labels. So the hot glue got me again, yanks out the bottom side of these things because they're glued and they're glued. It's horse shit. That's what it is. Now I bent that, trying to get this thing back on there. I mean, it's Mickey Mouse horse shit is what that is. I'm about done. So I've got everything unplugged on that board B, except for the data cable, that ribbon cable, and it's still messed up. So for sure that ribbon cable or that board B is at least part of the problem. Sucks. Anyway, well, I guess it's good. I kind of know what it is now. So I need a new one of these. And hopefully that'll be the end of the problems. I don't know, but not real thrilled about this whole process. I feel like I gave him enough information to come to the conclusion. I started with this. I had never worked on these before. I didn't understand anything about the computing on it or anything. So I was just like, I gave him the symptoms. I was like, it wasn't technically under warranty, but by all measures, it should have been. I sent them a note. I figured they know more about it and blah, 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 you know. Let them deal with it. And they were cool. They sent me the chip. They didn't charge me. They charged me like $5 shipping. And the rest of the boards, they didn't even charge me shipping. But multiple times, I tried to get them to call me. They would not call me. If they would have called me, we'd have had a conversation. I'm pretty sure we probably could have come to the conclusion, at least that it's a D0 to D1. And once I knew that, then I can, I'm not a total idiot. I can kind of do what I did today and isolate it to the problem instead of these going back and forth and board swapping. That's nonsense. So I just bought a Medieval Madness the other day, and I was wanting to put one on route. The one I got is actually a little too nice to put on route, so I don't know if I'm going to. But I kind of made a point of getting an original. So this is a super nice Medieval Madness, but this adventure with this modern infrastructure on the Chicago Gaming kind of left me, not super satisfied. So anyway, I'm going to try to get a new board for it, and hopefully that'll alleviate the problem. So it'll be another week or 2 or 3. I'll try to send another email to them or through their chatbot thing through their website, and hopefully I'll get a response. I definitely won't get a response today because it's a holiday, but hopefully I'll get a response within a day or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 or 7, you know. I don't know. Do I sound frustrated? I am frustrated. Note to self, when you're editing this video, if you haven't already like put these back on there and run a bead of hot glue, actually cut the old bead of hot glue off of there and reinstall the bead of hot glue, because I've already noticed that these that don't have it, you see how easy that comes off? They really need the hot glue because they're such janky connectors. Joy. So it's been a couple more weeks since the last time I filmed. I've just received a new replacement board. I think this is gonna at least help some of the problems. So this thing is still unhooked, so I've just got to unscrew it and swap in the new one and put in all the new connectors. And I've got all my marks, like where all these go on the old board. So I'll have to reference that because, as I've noted, these things aren't labeled. And there are a couple places like those two. Those could easily be swapped. They're the exact same type of connector. So anyway, I'm gonna get up. So I got that new board installed. I haven't turned it on. What I wanted to do was disconnect the briefcase motor, because that's one thing that's not working, and that's got enough power to, you know, like that's kind of stuff that's gonna blow a chip on a board maybe. So I found the connector, the motor connector. Here it's fused. So it's JB7, which is the very bottom one. So I'm gonna go disconnect that, lower the playfield, turn on the game, see what happens. So here's this new board in here. Actually, I still need to put the ribbon cable on there. But before I do anything, I'm gonna disconnect this JB7. And so that briefcase, if it's shorted or something wrong with it, it's not gonna do anything to this board. There's my old board. Get it out of here. And I'm gonna stick this one in real quick, lower the playfield, and fire this dude up. Here goes nothing. I'm really, really hopeful that we get some, at least the lights going here. I'm just like over this thing. I guess I should keep an eye and see what kind of, if I get any errors. I'll probably at least get a briefcase error because it's not even plugged in. This game takes a while to boot. Hey, I didn't get any errors, not yet anyway. Maybe it comes after. Yeah, motor error, okay. See if I get switch errors. I did not get a switch error. Waiting for balls. I think I got the balls out. So let me pause y'all for a second and throw some balls in there. Actually, I'm just gonna escape out of this. What in the hell? They lit up briefly, but I think that was the tornado. And neither of those are working. I mean, I'm just like, I'm over it. I am over it. I'm gonna, yeah. Jules and Mia. See there? Wait, that was the top and bottom. That wasn't working before. Let me go into the lamp test here. Okay, I'm in single lamp test. See that those 2 and 3 are going together? It's not going to work. I can already tell. See, when I go through there, they blink together. Still not working. Still not working. I'm so sick of this damn thing. So I just checked. I didn't have this board plugged in. I plugged it in. It's still the one's not working. I went ahead and played a game, and I manually lit these things up by hitting the saucer. Mia first wasn't lit. I hit Jules, and once both of them were lit, they both lit up together. So if both of them are designated to light, they'll both light. If Mia's first, she won't light. If Jules is first, won't light. They got to be both of them together, they'll light. Again, it's like it's missing a digit of the addressing. So I'm in the switch test now, and there's all kinds of craziness. So like this target, it's a spinner, but you saw a spinner, maybe you didn't see it, but it's mostly top lane 1. This one, this spinner here, moment's not working. A second ago it was doing spinner 1. This one is doing in lane 3, as in lane 3 is actually doing in lane 3. Those are the main one. Oh, this one is, yeah, it's 1, 2. These, the top one says top bank. The bottom one says top bank. So they're both saying the same thing. I've looked, they're plugged into different ports. So even if they're backwards, they should be backwards, but they're not backwards. If I put all the balls in the trough, then I get some additional errors. 2, 3. So now I get the jam. The jam will come up. So if I hit like this switch here, well, a second ago, that was causing the jam to pop up. So, see, that's saying mile per hour bonus. I guess that's what it's supposed to be. Okay. Anyway, so in summary, still all messed up. I'm thinking, at this point, I'm thinking maybe I've got a harness error where something shorted in the harness. So I'm kind of at the point of like starting to unplug stuff and see if I can get it to go away. A minute ago, that switch up there, if I hit it, I was getting a trough jam, disconnected the trough, and or took the balls out of the trough and it went away. So I don't know. I'm like, this is the one that's most persistent here. That one is always there. I mean, that's pretty screwed up. And these two, both of these being the top, I pressed the cheese one. That one's working. This one's working again now. So a lot of the stuff has gotten fixed by putting in that new board. It could be that whatever's messed up here gave an erroneous signal to the briefcase and overloaded it, and the briefcase may be fried. I don't know. The fuse wasn't bad on the other one, so maybe not. Maybe it just can't operate because it's getting the wrong signals and it's on the same circuit as all this other nonsense, that DOD one. But I'm thinking, because I've swapped all the boards, the CPU and all 3 boards in the bottom, and I still got the same issues. Unless it's the driver board. I mean, I think these are just controlling the solenoids. That's my understanding anyway. I mean, there's a pretty good sized chip there doing some computing, but I don't think this is involved with the lamps or the switches at all. I don't think. So I am going to kind of laboriously start plugging and unplugging boards and or connectors on the boards and see if I can get some of this stuff to start working. All right, so I just disconnected this board from the communication and also the main power. Did the same on this board over here. So I've only got this main board A running, and I still have these 2 switches are backwards, or I'm sorry, they're not backwards. They're always says the top, and the slingshot says in lane 3. So it's still messed up. So just this one running, the switches are still confused. So I'm gonna start disconnecting stuff one at a time, and see if I can't get this thing to operate. I'm gonna start by disconnecting the optos because that was part of the kind of the nonsense. And I've worked on another one of these games where the opto boards go bad, but they weren't going bad like this. They were just like, just stopped working. I had to get a new board. So I'm gonna start there. Okay, so I disconnected the optos for the trough, that whole connector, and now it says right rubber. It's still wrong, but it's different. Oh, now this one's way off too. Now this is saying right orbit bottom. Wow, now everything is like totally screwed up. How is it? Is this thing like, I'm wondering how they designed this board, whether like if everything's got to go through the board and back out to get to the next one. If like when it daisy chains, it's not daisy, like normally most games you daisy chained, the two wires are crimped on the connector, but if these have to go in the board and out the board, if that's the case, then this is going to make this very difficult to figure out. So this changed it. Didn't make it better, made it worse. So I don't think this messed up everything. That may not be on this main board here. Yeah, now every single thing is confused now. Took this connector here, and disconnected from there, and I had the game off, and that's the power and the communication to the two opto boards on the trough. I'm going to turn it off, plug that back in, and plug it in, turn it on again, see if it's back to where it was. That's just because this is literally all I had done from where it was a second ago. There's all these, I mean, there's a green and white, and it's like, is that coming and going? Sorry, you can't see that. No, that's green and yellow and green and white. Trying to see all these colors. I think they're all unique. Two red ones, but that's probably like 5 volts to either side. Anyway, I'm gonna turn it on and let's see if that changes anything. This is maddening. Yeah, it's like 30 seconds every time you boot it up. It could be a JGP and it'd be like 2 minutes. Whoa, now it's working. What the heck? I was top and bottom. They're backwards. That just means they're plugged in backwards because I just swapped them a second ago. Let's see if this is working. So that says right rubber now. And it's also erroneously going right rubber case lock. So is there something on that board that's crazy? And now this isn't working. This is one that was working intermittently. I wonder. I'm gonna stop filming. I'm gonna try to press that and wiggle on these cables and see if I can get that thing to work. That magnet there is plugged into the lower board, which is disconnected. So there's still goofiness, but it's different goofiness. So unplugging and plugging that trough board in. Now these are working. I've got top and bottom, and that's the first time I've seen top and bottom in a long time. But this is still goofy. See, that says top lane 2. Well, that one's working. Left orbit bottom. That says left orbit top. Right over bottom. So it says right rubber. So it's all messed up. It's all confused. I don't understand. I really don't. Does every single thing have to be plugged in for this? And they won't talk to me. That's the frustrating thing. If I can get them on the phone and have me like stand here and go through some things, somebody that actually knows how this thing works, because I don't. Quite frustrated. Okay, y'all are not gonna believe this, what I've done here. Well, you might believe what I've done, but you probably won't believe the outcome. I don't believe the outcome. I plugged in the communication on this board and the power, communication on this board and the power. So all the boards are plugged in. I've got everything plugged in except for the trough octo, because that seemed to be part of the problem. Left slingshot. Oh, I haven't seen that in a long time. 3 in lane. It's right there. I swapped these cables a second ago. So now I got bottom. I've got top. I've got the magnet. I've got 4. I've got ball save. I mean, that's a bonus. Pressing 2. Pressing 1. Holy crap. I mean, let's see if this one works. That one's still not working. Left spinner. So this one, maybe it's unplugged. Get that one spinning. That one hadn't worked in a while. But every other switch that I can easily reach, right jet, center, wait, left and center. Yep, those are all good. Big kahuna left, big kahuna right. I mean, all the ones that I can, let me see these. Right orbit lower, right orbit top, left bottom, left top. So all the switches that I can reach easily, can't get, the drop target's already down, and some of those I can't hardly reach my finger. That's all good. Oh my gosh, I'm tempted to go to the lamps here. Oh my gosh, that's it. It's the ball trough. It was the ball trough the whole time. Freaking ball trough board was causing all this bullshit. That's messed up. So in summary, let's look at what I've swapped out. That's a replacement board. That's original. Yeah. That board has been swapped out. This board has been swapped out. This board has been swapped out. Actually, I still don't know. I'm tempted to plug in my this connector here for the briefcase. I bet it works if I plug it in. I bet it does. Because I believe that fuse there is the fuse for the briefcase. It says it's fused, and that's the only fuse that sees on here. So, and that's the only thing that would be driving a motor that would need a fuse from this thing. I think. Anyway, so if I plug this thing in, it all goes to hell. This has been, well, it's still not fixed because I don't have those boards. I thought I had it fixed. I thought I had it derived to that one, but that was a false prophet. This one I feel much better about because I do that. I'm gonna turn this dude off. Plug this in real quick. Turn it on again. And we should get some, I think it wiggles during the boot up process here. At least we shouldn't get a error for it if it's working. We'll see. Should be, or if there's gonna be an error. Yeah. switch errors. Well, I don't have the trough hooked up, so that would kind of explain that. Too many balls in game. Yeah, I didn't know what to think about the trough because it's not getting anything from it. All right, well, I'm going to get back and send another text message, and I'll probably get a response in a day or 2 or 3. I'm going to mail this one back. They will say they give me a box, and they're not charging me for this, so that's the good side. Just taking forever, and I just feel like if they knew this game as well as I'm learning about it now, and they should, this thing could have been. If I had to do it over again, I don't know if I had contacted them. I would have just start disconnecting boards and see when the problem goes away. That's what I would have done, because that's what I kind of gave up. That's what I've decided to do, and that was the solution because, nothing else was working. But that is kind of crazy that board on there, and it's that D, not D1. I'm pretty sure, because I figured that out. So somewhere on that board, it's shortened those two together or something. Because, like I said earlier, I was playing a fake game, put a ball in the saucer. She was supposed to be lit. She was not lit. Then I got Jules, and and then as soon as I got Jules, they both lit up. So it's like they're shorted together or something on that board. So I needed to get a new trough board. Actually, I could probably plug that connector in and plug one side or the other and to determine which one of the boards I need, because, well, it's almost for certain I need this one here, because this one, all it does is broadcast flashlight. It's just broadcasting the light across, and this one's got all the circuitry on it with all the sensors, or all the switch matrix kind of crap on it. All right, it's been another 2 weeks since I filmed last. Yeah, I just got these two boards in for Chicago Gaming. These are for the ball trough ones I suspect the problem. Before I go into this, I just edited, in this 2 weeks, I've edited the video up to this point, and I realized during editing that when I thought this board was the problem, and I noted this in the video, I put a little note in there, this harness was unplugged, which was the ball trough. So that was the problem all along, but I didn't know that was unplugged when I unplugged this one. So I thought it led me to believe that this was the problem when it wasn't the problem. That said, once later on, after I realized that wasn't a problem, and I figured out that this one was, and this was unplugged. If I plugged and unplugged this one, it changed stuff. So it changed, like, things were wrong, but they were wrong in a different sense. Like the switches would go to the wrong place, but it'd be a different wrong place. So I don't really understand that unless, like, these three main boards that do all the computing, is that essentially one big board system where they all have to be tied in together for them to work properly. Wouldn't think that'd be the case, but it almost seems like that's the case. But I don't have any knowledge, and I can't speak to anybody, and that's a little frustrating. In any case, I believe at this point, if I swap out this board here, this is the receive side. So this is the broadcast side. So these are just like, think of them as like flashlights. So they're broadcasting like a light beam, and these receive it. And normally they can sense that the corresponding bulb is lit. The ball rolls in front of it, it blocks the light, and it changes the state. So it's just like the light beam in your garage door. Works just like that. But this one, like I say, it's just essentially a flashlight. It's on all the time. I believe that's the way these are working anyway. Pretty sure. And this one has all the computing, and so I believe this is the problem child, which is the bottom side there. So I'm going to undo that bottom side there. Screw this in there. Actually, I don't even have to undo that one. I can just plug it in and see if it goes away. But I'm gonna unscrew it. There's only 3 little screws. I'm gonna put this in there, and hopefully, this will end this working on this game. I'm really tired of messing with it. Okay, I just turned it on. I'll throw some balls in here, and in just a moment, we're gonna see what this thing's gonna do. I'm hopeful. I am hopeful. I think this is going to do it. I really do. I'm kind of nervous though. Okay, no errors popping up. Motor error. Dang it. I wonder if I switch errors. Dang it, dang it, dang it. I wonder if I've got everything plugged in. Coin door open. Well, I can fix that part. Okay, this lighting. It's not lighting. And those are not lighting. Holy shit. I can't believe this. I just can't believe it. Well, see that saying in lane 3 right there. That's what I was doing before. Let me unplug it. So I tried plugging and unplugging this trough switch. No joy. I was getting ready to unplug this, and when I touched it, I heard switches. Hear that? I don't have on this little thing here. Basically, these things screw down to hold that in place. But it's plugged in all the way, and so I don't think it's the plug. I think it's the ribbon cable itself. In case you don't know, ribbon cables are pretty crappy connectors, generally speaking. They're IDC, so there's a little wire that basically pierces inside of there, that pierces in like a nail, you might say, that pierces and touches the little tiny wire that's inside each one of these. So they're kind of prone to going bad. I've already swapped it. They gave me a new one, so I've swapped this out, but I just pulled out all my ribbon cables I've got later on. Well, the ones that are easily accessible, that are not in a game. I'm gonna try to see if I can swap this out, and maybe that's it. So maybe in the act of doing all this stuff, I got it in a position where it was working, or maybe when that's unplugged, it does work. And that maybe that's why I thought it was this and that was unplugged. I don't know, some combination of, I don't know. I'm gonna unplug it and see if it works. So maybe that's it. I don't have one of these. I've got every width but I don't have one that's, wait, is that the right one? No, it's slightly, yeah, everyone's one pin longer or one pin shorter I've got. So I'm gonna have to get one of these, and geez, maybe then maybe that's it. In the meantime, I'm tempted to get a dang mallet and smack the heck out of this just to really see that this is the problem. You can see it's just, they're just bent over and smashed. I might be able to open it up and smash it in a new spot. I've never really done that before, but that's all it's really done. I don't know how easy that is to do. So I took the covers off this and the strain relief, and you can see the little pins, and they're basically notched, and they go around each one of those little wires. So I'm gonna put this device and try to just jam those in there a little bit better and plug it in if I can see it for work. I'm gonna order a new one of these. I don't have any. I might have one of these in like a WPC game, the game that goes between the MPU and the driver board, but I don't have any of those games that are set up that I can. They're all my games, all my WPC games are folded up, and I don't want to put them together just to check and see, and it's probably the wrong one anyway. So I'm gonna just, like I said, put this in a vise and drive those a little further, and see if I get this to work. That way I'll be like 100% sure that this is the problem. So I just crimped those things on like super hard with the vise, threw it back in the game. I didn't even put the stress release back on there. I just jammed back in the game. The game booted up. It did not have the motor error or switches errors. Still don't have those lights. It's still messed up. In lane 3, yeah, same. Oh, that wasn't even plugged in. Let me try to hit it now. Same. I'm using my phone to press the button, but I wish I could at least tell which one of these is. So I think it's this bottom one is the sensitive one. I wish I could get it just to temporarily work, but it's always in lane 3 on that button. I'm gonna take it off and work on it a little bit more. I crimped it again. I put the ribbon in there backwards, so at least if it's still messed up, and that's the problem, it should be a different problem. Last time I booted up, I didn't get errors. We'll see what this one does. I know this is really exciting. Okay, I don't have errors. That's good. Oh, I spoke too soon. Yeah, it's not gonna work. The coin door is not open. It's weird. Whoops. Whoops. Switch test. Left sling. That's correct now. It said when earlier I said rubber, left rubber. That wasn't right. It should say left sling. That's the first time that says left sling in a while. So that's all working. This stuff. Huh. I don't think my right spinner's working. Well, all of them I can easily hit real right here. Let's see these. So just I'm verifying these are all working up here. Everyone, nothing's translated. Everything is good. Oh, my lights are working. Yes, all my track lights. So I put that. I just jammed. I put that back on there, and I jammed the crap out of it in here. I thought I was either gonna break it or make it better. I think I made it better. So I don't know why it thought the coin door switch was open. I'm gonna go ahead and shut the door. I gotta get the key. Let me shut the door, and I'm gonna boot it up again. So I just booted it up again with the door shut. I still get the motor errors and the switch errors. The lights are working here, and the one. Let me open up the door and go through the motor tests. So I put that ribbon cable in there backwards. I just played a little bit of a game. just manually, and the briefcase is indeed not working. I just see that I didn't even start a mode. I did the briefcase multi-ball, and it's showing the shot is lit. That's not right. So I think what I've done, I fixed some things and I messed up some other things so that my problems have translated when I reverse that ribbon cable. So that's enough for me to feel comfortable, at least stop messing with this for today. Go on Amazon, buy myself a ribbon cable. I'm do it Amazon because it's quick. Hopefully I can get something tomorrow or maybe 2 days. I need this game. I've sold a bunch of games and I need to get this thing back out. I'm short right now. So I was hoping to get this thing fixed today and out tomorrow, but now, it's like, dang. So I need it working. I need my girls are working all the time. Yeah, I just went through the individual lamp test, and this whole area up here is all messed up. So I was down here mostly and a little up here. Now it's moved. So anyway, off to Amazon. All right, a couple days later, and I got a couple of the ribbon cables here. It's a little bit longer than the stock one, but that's okay. I'm gonna throw it in here. I don't know. I was pretty sure the last 2 times. I was sure when I swapped out that board I was going to fix it. I was sure when I swapped out that board I was going to fix it. So I'm a little bit less than sure, but at this point I'm kind of giving up on myself here. I don't know. I'm going to throw it in. We'll see. All right, got it plugged in there. I just turned it on. We'll see something here soon. Oh my gosh. I really want this just to work. I just want it to work. We'll see if we get their errors. Switch errors, great. I didn't get a motor error. Usually the motor error becomes before switch errors. Coin door open. Oh, well, no, it's doing swirlies right now. We get out of the swirlies. It's lighting up. Huh? Maybe. The switch error, I don't know why I'm getting a switch error. Maybe it's the switch is closed. It shouldn't be, like a spinner or something. I don't know. I'm going to put it down. And I'm going to put it into switch test to start with. And, whoops. Up. There we go. Okay. So this was one. This one was going to... It was doing that with 3. It's doing left sling. That's good. Geez. Yeah, this one was kind of goofy. That's magnet target. I guess I could do get the balls out of the trough and put them in one at a time. By the way, Chicago coin has this little lever here. So when you pick this thing up, that thing falls down, keeps the balls from falling all over the place when you lift the play field. You don't have to extract all the balls every time you lift the play field, which is like genius. I love it. Okay, I got those out. I'm gonna put them in one at a time. So I should see like 4, 3, 2, 1, or maybe 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 as the balls go through the optos. So we'll see. Okay, I couldn't really see them all, but I got to 1. Then I got to 2, 3, and 4. Okay, and the 1 had a right and the 4 has a left. I guess that's okay. I don't know. I'm just going to hit some more switches, just kind of make sure that nothing's really goofy. Left cut. I'm going to read them to you. That says 2. That says 1. That says top saucer. So, oh, this right spinner wasn't working here before. Right spinner still isn't working. Okay, I have to check that. Maybe it's not plugged in. But yeah, the right spinner is not working. That didn't work the last time. Royale with cheese, left bank bottom, left bank top, left ball save, 3, 4, right ball save, mile per hour bonus, center bank, left. Geez, that's most of them I can reach. I'll do the top, center, left, right jet. Okay. So let me back up real quick. gonna go through the lamps real quick. Single, okay. Just going through these. Before, like a couple of those didn't work right there. So there's 3 on each of those Pulps Fictions. So they go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, red, green, and blue. I mean, everything is working, and they're all like, they're going right in order, which means they're probably not going wrongly. Ooh, the shot didn't light up. I'm gonna back up. Clean the car, the shot. The shot did not light up. Okay? Huh, I never get there anyway. Seriously, I've never got the shot. I've never done it. It's not impossible, but it's pretty hard to get the mode started because the dang the characters get in your way. But it'd be nice if it was working. I did see that work in the attract. I know I saw it light. So I'm seeing something change every time I press the button. So Vincent. Oh, that's probably up. That's probably on the topper. It says TL. So these aren't going to do anything for me. And now I'm back to the bottom again. Oh, no, that wasn't. That was not. That was new stuff. Now I'm back to the bottom. Okay, so as far as I know, that switch is not working and that shot's not working. So let me pick up the playfield and first let's look at the switch because that's probably the easier one to look at. Okay, so that switch is this one here. It just wasn't plugged in. So easy peasy. Either that or it came unplugged because there's no hot glue on it. Seriously, maybe. I don't know. I am going to have to go through and hot glue this here in a second. Okay, so that probably fix that switch. Back up here. Okay, I haven't tested every switch, but I've tested every switch I can easily reach, so I feel pretty decent. That was weird. The shot doesn't work. Let me go to all lamps. I bet it works in all lamps. It doesn't. I swear I saw that light during the attract mode just a second ago. Well, maybe I didn't. Well, I'm gonna get out of the game. I don't see it lighting now. Does not light. That's on that big board, I'm sure. I don't know. You kind of want to know that's lit when it is lit, though, because that's kind of a big deal. Because I believe that's a little mini wizard. It's one of the, well, it's not one of these. I think it's a mini wizard mode. You do the 4 main modes: the twist, the BMF, the gold watch, clean the car, and then you get the shot. And I've never done it. Yeah, I would think that would be those lights would be rolling all the way up there. In fact, I see that when it hits clean the car, it goes clean, which probably means it goes clean the car up and then back. It's just not lighting. I swear though, I saw that light when I first booted this up. I may go back and watch a video, or I may just reboot it. I'm gonna do that. I won't force y'all to watch. So I just rebooted it. When it first did the first couple of times, it lit it, but only kind of like weakly, and then it stopped. I don't know what that means. Means it's broke, I guess. And I still got a switch error on here. So I'm gonna start up a game and I'm gonna try to hit every switch I can, because I using the ball I can hit all the switches. So I just hit the drop target and the shot, it lit up bigger than Memphis. I mean, it lit up brightly. So I don't know about that. I don't know how to get it back. Maybe if I hit a character, that drop target would come back up.
You gotta make some phone calls.
I think maybe I gotta have to start that mode before it'll pop back up. So I'm in the mode. Watch. You see there? It's working now. So it's like, I don't know, maybe the test mode is not programmed. So they sent me a new board, so I've got a new program. So I probably don't have the updated code for this. So maybe the old code, the test menu doesn't light it, because it's clearly lighting it now.
People, let's focus.
So I'm gonna go through all the modes and see if plus I kind of want to see what the shot looks like anyway, because I've never seen it. Okay, so I've done all the modes with my hand, and I want to see if this lights the shot here.
Wait on the side.
It did, so it's working perfect. It's just like in the test mode, it doesn't work perfect. So I don't know about that. Anyway, I'm gonna just do this because I've never seen it. I think this is like the one where they jam that needle in the guy.
Give it the shot. Come on.
Yeah. Oh, it's heartbeat. Oh, everything's red. This is awesome. I have a new goal for this game. I told you how much I love this game. I freaking love this game. I tell you, I've never done this mode. It's not because I suck at it. I've got better score than anybody I know. I've got like 30 million points on this game. I did that in the wild, not. And but that was before I learned the rules. And now that I know the rules, now I try to play the modes, but I never get through all of them. It's such a hard thing to do. My one complaint about the rules, well, I got two of them really. One complaint of the rules is as soon as you not collect a character, but you qualify a character, you get the saucer, they're blinking, and you got to go up there to collect it. It basically shuts you out of starting a mode. So you got to knock that drop target down before you get in the saucer, which, unless you're trying not to do that, it's not going to happen. You got to work not to get up in that saucer. You got to do short plunges, or if it auto plunges, you got to grab it real quick and do a short plunge, because if you shoot up the top, at least half the time it'd go in that saucer. Anyway, so that's beside the point on this repair video. So I'm still not 100%. I think my original problem was this the shooter lane opto. And I think during the process of messing around with it, yanking and pulling that ribbon cable on and off, I messed that up also. Because at one point Chicago Coin had given me a new one. I had replaced it. But obviously that fixed some of the problems. I mean, some of the problems remained even after I put it. But putting in this board here, this opto board for the not the shooter lane, the return lane optos, whatever. That got me a long way. So anyway, been a frustrating ordeal, to be sure. And I still I've been pretty harsh. I think some of it's deserved, maybe some of it's not. I'd still say I love this game, first off. And I'm really glad that Chicago Gaming is doing remakes of all these old classics. That said, I'm going to stand behind it. I'd rather have the old original than one of these, because this one, I can fix it. This one, it's been over 3 months, and I just now got it done, and I still don't really understand how this thing works. Maybe that's me, but I don't think anybody else understands it. I don't think either of the people I was talking to at Chicago Gaming, they didn't really fully get it, or they just weren't provided the enough time. It could be the people that I'm working with are great, and they don't have the resources to deal with me. Like management doesn't give them enough time. It may be that kind of thing. It's not those people; it's the people, their bosses. They just don't have the. But I still say if I'd had a telephone call with one of their techs, I think we could have gone through this thing in like an hour or 2 or 3, or not even an hour. Probably on the phone time, it's like 15 minutes or maybe 30 minutes. I know that's a lot of phone time, but gee, like I said, I've swapped all these boards. That's not cheap either, and it's very frustrating. I'm thinking to myself, if I was, I run the pinball shop. That's what I do for a living. If I'm average Joe, would I have figured this out? No. Nope, would not have. It would not have happened. So what would have been the solution? I don't know. Wouldn't have been pretty because this, like I said, beginning, this thing was out of warranty, just barely. And only on a technical basis. It hadn't been operated for a year. It only been bought for a year. So, I don't know. It's that part of it sucks. And I will stand by my criticism 120% on all those connectors, because now that it's working, I'm still going to have to go through this game and get up my hot glue gun and hot glue most of the connectors. So a few of them are decent connectors, like that one there. It's got the little springy tab, and that one doesn't have any hot glue. So obviously Chicago Gaming, they knew that was a good connector too. They knew this one was a crappy one because there's hot glue on it. It's been cut and it will just slide right off super easy. So I'm gonna have to re-glue all these, and I may end up having to basically pull the old hot glue off so I have a good spot to glue, so I can glue right there on that seam, because that's really where you'd want to do it, because it's easy, just like on that one there. And there's like a ton of them on here, and it's not going to be, that's not a little thing. Let me say that. My hot glue gun sucks. It's from an arts and crafts store. Maybe they had one with a long nozzle. Mine does not have a long nozzle. I'm just saying, if you've got to use a hot glue gun to keep your connectors on there, that's poor design, and I'm not gonna. I'll say that forever to anybody. You got to do better. You got to do better. That's all I got to say about that. But my final word is, this is still one of my favorite games to play ever. I do love it. I love the call outs. I love the theme. I will say that. I've seen this movie like a million times. But beyond that, I love the play of it. I love the classic one level dimensions to it. I think everything, a couple of things on the rules I don't like. I mentioned the one. I also don't like the fact you can't stack the multi-balls with the modes. And I know that it's kind of, it's an homage to the retro, and I get that. But, yeah, whatever. They could have a mode setting in the modes. I love the cursing call outs. I love it's all in for me. I love the cheesy hamburgers and the art. It's everything. It's everything. The Big Kahuna, the magnet. It's great. So anyway, the cabinet itself is just like, I think it's stunning. I think it's great. Everything about it. Anyway, so if you want to get a Pulp Fiction, I guess I wouldn't hesitate if I was going to buy this and put it in my house. Makes me think twice about buying another one and operating it, because that's a whole different level of plays and abuse. If you put it in your house, you're not going to get many plays on it. And if you put it in the bar, you will. So anyway, that would be my thought. So it's working. I need this back out. So I'm probably going to put it back out probably tomorrow, because I've sold some, and I need to swap this one. I'm not going to sell this one because I love it. So there is that. I can bitch about it, but I love it too. So I just wish those connectors were better, and I wish the customer service was afforded me a phone call conversation. I think I deserve that. I mean, maybe what the ultimate solution is. I mean, I know that a lot of people, probably they sell like this game here. Probably 90% of their sales are home end, and there are people that are like I know their pop bumpers bust all the time because they use the old crappy the Williams type yokes that are flat. They're not three-dimensional. They didn't upgrade them, and they could have. They didn't. They could have put the Gottlieb style where there's a lip on the back side so they don't flex and break in two. Because I did a service call on one up in Kentucky, and I've swapped them out on another Pulp Fiction that I service here in Knoxville, and these are, you know, they'll break too. In fact, the service call I did, some of the information I got from the dealer was suggested for me to turn down the power on the pop bumpers, and that was kind of like a internal thing because I guess they bust all the time. But anyway, it's so I guess my point is, I think it's a good home use game. Maybe it's not the best routed game. Even then, I'd say I think Stern's definitely the best for routing. That's clear. There's no second to there's hardly any second. But if there is a second, it's Chicago Gaming. I think these are better than the Spookies and the JJPs in terms of routing. I hear Evil Dead's is pretty rigorous. I haven't routed a Evil Dead, but the stuff before that I've heard kind of otherwise. And JJP, of personal experience, don't really like routing those games either, for a couple reasons. Anyway, that's my take. I'm glad to have this thing working. And even at this point, I'm not 100% sure the totality of the errors. At least part of it was a ribbon cable, and I'm almost 100% positive that a good part of it was that board right there. I think that was the original problem, and through monkeying around, pulling boards and pulling cables, I messed up that cable also. So it was, at one point I had two things messed up, which makes it even harder to try to figure out what's going on. So anyway, if you like the video, click like, subscribe, share it with your friends, tell me I'm a fool, whatever. Anyway, I'll see you on the next one, and adios. One follow-up, I was trying to figure out what that switch error was. So I went to the menu and I found it. It's right flipper in the stroke. And if you look at this one, there's only one blade there. So the other one just snapped off. So I have to put a new one on there, but I can fix that.